Hello everyone, this is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the DisruptMeister. Welcome to this very special outside edition of the One Bitcoin Show. You are watching this on March the 12th, 2018. I am recording this on the 11th though. Alright, this is Africa, this is South Africa behind me, and I know people wanted to see that, so there you go. So let's quickly talk about a South African subject, and many of you have brought this up to me. And again, I am in Johannesburg, so I don't encounter farmers here. It's a huge city. I'm in a suburb actually, in what's it, Bryanston it's called. It's very nice here. We're near where the Microsoft office is. So no, I don't see farmers here, but yes, the government here is not thinking very long term. They're thinking very short term, and they have, from what I've heard, they want to take away farmers' land. And that is just, that's not good for a Western style country. That doesn't get businesses interested in coming to your country. It doesn't foster innovation. It is a short-term solution. It solves maybe some short-term financial problems, social problems, but in the long run, confiscation of land, whether it be farm or regular homes, it sets a horrible precedent, and long-term it destroys. It just destroys civilization as we know it on a certain level. So I bring this up because no matter where you live, your government is not going to, they're not long-term thinkers. They're short-term thinkers. They always come up with short-term solutions. And what you should take away from that is that you should come up with long-term solutions. You battle them that way. They go short-term, you go long-term. And to the farmers here, this is what you should do. You should use Bitcoin as your insurance. Think long-term. If you're going to lose if you're going to lose your value, if you're going to lose your savings that's been built up in your land, you should get into Bitcoin, which is something that cannot be confiscated. Your land can be confiscated, your houses can be confiscated, your bank accounts can be confiscated. Bitcoin cannot be confiscated. So this is a long-term insurance plan for people all around the world that are in precarious situations with their governments or with financial entities, perhaps bank bail-ins. Bitcoin is that solution, is that long-term solution to the short-term desires of governments and entities which many of us feel control our lives. But in the end of the day, we control our lives. And if one thinks long-term to battle short-term and gets on this Bitcoin train, then you very much will see that you control your life. So pound that like button there. That's people wanted me to address subject matters like that. My simple answer is Bitcoin is insurance against government overreach, and clearly there's a threat of major government overreach here that involves confiscation, and Bitcoin is unconfiscatable. All right, so what's another subject matter here? Yes, food discipline. Discipline is something people often ask me about. And I advise everyone to be disciplined with what they eat. And why am I bringing this up on a financial, on a Bitcoin channel? Because if you can really be disciplined with what you eat healthy, You fast. You only eat certain times of days. You don't eat after 9 o'clock. You don't eat out for long periods of time. You save money by eating in. This type of discipline, it's easier, it's harder to control food discipline than it is financial discipline. So if you can become disciplined with your food, you can easily become disciplined with your finances. So aim high and start to practice with intermittent fasting, other subject matters that just eating healthy. Just eating healthy and preparing your own food. That's a first easy step. And it's a step toward financial freedom. Really it is. Because if you can control what you put in your mouth, you can easily control your finances. And you're only going to hear this kind of stuff on a Bitcoin channel like this, so pound that like button if you like this. And again, this is a different show. It's a tape show. We're going to talk about different things on a tape show. So many people have asked me about the system collapsing, the financial, and most of you know I don't believe the financial system is going to collapse at all, because the 80%ers are comfortable with unfreedom. Now, what is unfreedom? I mean, it isn't slavery, but it's something above that in terms of freedom. People are comfortable with their lives. They're willing to put up with so much just to be comfortable. Oh, so what if taxes go up? So what if this gets confiscated? So what if I have to live here? I have to send my kid to this school. I'm comfortable. I'm fitting in. Life is great. Sure, it's not true freedom, but people cling to unfreedom like their mother because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. And they're not a slave. They can say, well, I'm not a slave. I do what I want to do. I can buy what type of car I want to buy. And I'm fitting in. I'm fitting into the system. That is unfreedom. And most people cherish their unfreedom, in fact. So why would the system collapse? Because the system, there are more and more financial demands by the system, inflationary, but people are comfortable. They enjoy their unfreedom. They enjoy it like their mom, because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. You don't want to leave the womb. You don't want to leave that comfortable place you grew up in. And the 80%ers are totally satisfied with unfreedom. But the stability that it's fake stability. And 20%ers realize that unfreedom is not freedom. And that Bitcoin will end unfreedom for those who choose to go that way. Because if you choose the Bitcoin way, you don't have to deal with that bank anymore. You don't have to live in that country anymore. Bitcoin's good anywhere. You don't have to deal with the inflation the inflation that the money printing that's going on, that the 80%ers gladly accept because they're comfortable. But it's not an easy step to jump to the Bitcoin island, to jump on the Bitcoin train, because you're giving up that comfortable unfreedom for true freedom. So, yes, it is easy to be unfree. It's difficult to get into the Bitcoin paradigm, but once you're in it, once you value your wealth in Bitcoin, it opens so many doors. You're in an entire new realm, and you see the land of unfreedom, and you also see that, yes, the 80% are going to keep it going because they're comfortable, and they don't want to see outside of the box. They don't want to see what is really going on out there. They love their schools, they love their big screen TVs, they love their suburbs, and they're going to just fit in, and they love fitting in. And so don't fit in. Jump on the Bitcoin train, get rid of that unfreedom, and think about what unfreedom really means to you. All right, so looking at freedom, unfreedom, and slavery and Bitcoin and the system not collapsing, this all takes a creative mind here. And we all have the potential to be so creative. And here, this guy, Ozer Dolegugulu, I'm going to link to it below. He talks about the enemies of creativity. And I think this is, once you understand the enemies of creativity and how to avoid these enemies, you can get closer to becoming a truly free Bitcoin person, because you're going to come up with all these creative solutions. Because we all have problems, and people say, well, it's hard to value your wealth in Bitcoin. It's hard for me to move out of this town. It's hard for me to move my kids from this school to the other. It's hard for me to get rid of this anchor. But if you have a creative mind, if you flex that creative part of your brain, you're going to be able to come up with some awesome solutions that put me on the Bitcoin train. So here we go, enemies of creativity. 1, self-doubt. There you go. If you doubt yourself, you're never going to be creative. You can do it. Trust me, you can do it. I'm telling you, I believe in you. Groupthink, that's a classic enemy of creativity. That's just fitting in. You're like, I'll just go with the flow. I'll go with the crowd. Whatever they say, I'm down with it. Keeping all my money at Bank of America. That's the way to go, because everybody else does it. I'll be able to get this nice big house in this nice big suburb if I go that way. No, don't go that way. Abundance of resources. You put yourself in this situation where, look at this, I've got my big screen TV, I got my great job here paying me so much money, I got great food. So what if I'm in debt? I'm bringing in all these great resources, even though I'm in debt. I'm living comfortably. Dude, get rid of all that stuff. Start to live uncomfortably, and you'll get real creative real quick. Get rid of those wants that you piled all around you. And they're not true resources either. I'm kind of twisting this around, but I'm trying to put this in the modern man's world here. So abundance of resources. If you're living comfortably, you're not going to get creative. No deadlines. If you have no deadlines, you're never going to get on it. Give yourself some deadlines. Say, you know what? I got to have 2 Bitcoin by the end of May, and figure it out. Figure out how you're going to get 2 Bitcoin by the end of May. You'll get real creative. Propensity to blame is an enemy of creativity. Oh, it's the banker's fault I'm poor. Oh, it's these people's, it's Adam's fault I'm poor, and all his people's fault I'm poor. No, because if you're just going to keep on blaming, you're never going to get creative. You're going to get stuck in that rut, and you're never going to better yourself. Indifference. That's an enemy of creativity. Who cares? Who cares? I'm just going to live my life. Who cares? Who cares if I'm forced, if my taxes go up? Who cares if they're printing money? Who cares? No, you're just going to get stuck that way. Big egos. That's the 7th enemy of creativity that this guy comes up with. Dude, I'm the greatest, man. I don't need to change anything. No way, man. I'm living a life here. I'm living a life, and I'm better than you, so I don't need to change. I don't need to think of an alternative life. Your lifestyle, it sucks. You with your creative lifestyle, your new way of life, it's terrible. I'm the best. I'm sticking with this because I figured it all out. So yeah, there you go, people. Pound that like button. Avoid those 7 enemies of creativity. I link to them below. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, DisruptMeister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the notes section below, pound that like button. See ya later.